The Aged Mother by Matsuo Basho. In a quiet mountain village in ancient Japan, there lived a poor farmer and his aged mother. The old woman was kind, wise, and gentle. Though her hands had grown weak with age and her hair had turned white as snow, her son loved her deeply. He cared for her every day and listened closely to her words of wisdom. At that time, however, the ruler of the land made a cruel law. He believed that old people were no longer useful to society. So he ordered that every elderly person must be taken to the mountains and left there to die. The people of the village were filled with sadness and fear, but no one dared disobey the law. One evening, the farmer received the order. His heart became heavy. He could not bear the thought of losing his beloved mother, but he knew he had no choice. The next morning, he prepared a small bundle of food and gently carried his mother on his back. Together, they traveled up the steep mountain path. The forest was silent except for the sound of rustling leaves and the soft cries of birds. As they climbed higher, the son noticed something strange. His mother kept reaching for tree branches and snapping off small twigs, dropping them along the path behind them. At last, they reached the lonely mountain top. With tears in his eyes, the son slowly placed his mother on the ground. He knelt before her, unable to speak because of his sorrow. But the old mother smiled gently and said, "My son, I noticed how worried you were while climbing the mountain. So I broke branches along the way to mark the path. Follow them carefully, and they will guide you safely home." The son was overcome with emotion. Even in her final moments, his mother thought only of his safety. He could no longer obey the cruel law. So instead of leaving her behind, he lifted her once more onto his back and carried her home. There, he secretly hid her in a small room beneath the floor of his house. Days later, the ruler announced another challenge to the villagers. He demanded that someone make a rope out of ashes. Anyone who failed would be punished. The villagers were confused. No one knew how such a thing could be done. Desperate, the farmer returned home and told his mother about the impossible task. The old woman thought quietly for a moment. Then she smiled and gave him an answer. "Twist straw into a rope first," she said, "then burn it carefully without breaking its shape." The son followed her instructions exactly. When the rope was burned, its ashes remained perfectly in the form of a rope. The ruler was astonished. "How did you solve such an impossible problem?" he demanded. The farmer fell to his knees and confessed the truth. He told the ruler about hiding his mother and about the wisdom she had shared. The ruler became silent. At last, he realized how foolish his law had been. He understood that the elderly were not burdens, but treasures filled with wisdom and experience. From that day on, the cruel law was abolished, and the old people of the land were treated with honor and respect. And so, the farmer and his aged mother lived together peacefully, proving that love, wisdom, and compassion are far more valuable than strength or youth.